file handling or file input output in Python. Welcome to everyone. Think about a scenario that you have a large text, like a thousands number of text like this, and to get some information out of this text. So then what we'll generally do till now, so we copy this text, this multi-line text, in a variable as a string, and then we work with that variable. But don't you think it will be too messy, because you're copying a thousands number of text in a variable in your program and then you work with it? It will be much better if you can have this text somewhere in a file, some text file or somewhere in your hard drive, and if you can somehow read that text from this file in your program. That will be much better, right? Think of a scenario like you have a website where you have a lot of information there, and you're parsing that website and extracting all this information from a website in your program, and then you are getting a meaningful insights for this from this data in the website. You want to review those information later point of time. What happens is that as soon as your program ends and you close your program, all this information, insight you are getting from those texts, it's gone, because when a program runs, it loads everything in the memory, RAM, right? And that memory is volatile in nature. What that means is, as soon as program is complete, the information is flushed out of memory. It's no more there. So it will be much better if we can save those information somewhere in some file, .text file or somewhere, right? .xls or .docx, anywhere. But it should be persistent, so that later point of time also, we go back to the file, open that file and read those information. To do all these things, what we need to do? We need to know that how we can read some information from a file or write some information to a file from our program. That's the handling of the file we are going to discuss in this video, how we can effectively file handling in Python. We can broadly divide file types in two different categories. One is text file. Text file is those which are human readable format, which you can save it as a .text, the human readable format. So that is called a text files. Another one is a binary file. Binary files are like those which are, let's say a movie file, image file, MP4, JPEG. These are the different binary files we are talking about. So in this video, we are going to handle both this type of files, text file as well as the binary files. Now with this file, what you can do? You can do multiple different operations, like you can read this file, you can write in these files, you can rename this file, delete these files, you can also navigate to the different directories. All this you can do, and we are going to see in this series, in the multiple videos, all this operation with the files. But for today's video, we are going to concentrate on the read and write with the files. Later videos, we will discuss rename, delete, directories, operation and all those things in the other videos. Imagine you are trying to read a book. You have the book with you. You then open the book, read it, and then you close it. In programming also, you do the exactly same thing. If you want to read a file, you first open it, then you do the operation, right? Read or write anything, and then you close it. Let's say you have a file with you like this, 4 lines of text here. You want to read this file. What you will do is, you first open the file. To open the file, the syntax is, there is an open function is there, and then open function takes the 4 different parameters like file, mode, buffering and encoding. This file and mode parameter is the most important one, and that we are going to discuss now. So try to understand. So there are 2 parameters. One is the file. What file parameter does is, it provides the name of the file and the location of the file. Let's say you have this file small text that is in the one folder, then you need to mention the folder name / the file name. That it does. Let me put that. So here my file is the files IO folder / and then this is my file name. So we put the location of the file. Then it comes the mode parameter. See this mode parameter. Mode parameter is the mode you want to open the file. This mode parameter decides all the operation after this you can perform on this file. So let me show you one thing. There are multiple different modes available in Python, but we are going to discuss all total 12 modes, which are the majorly used. But in today's video, we are going to discuss first 6. Okay, read binary, write binary, append and append binary. And at this point of time we are discussing the read one. What read mode it says is it open the file for reading only. So you see the mode decide that what operation you can perform on this file. So when you opening something in the read mode, then you can only read that file, and the pointer places the file at the beginning of the file, and this is a default mode. Let me try to explain this to you. Here I am opening the file in the read mode, that is R. What it does is it opens this file of small test in the read mode. And remember, when you're opening something in the read mode, that file need to be present. If file is not present, it will give an error. Okay, that is the first thing. And when you're opening something in the read mode, what happen is this is nothing but a file handler object, and this point this file handler object to this particular file, whatever you mention here. So it has a cursor, and it put the cursor in the beginning of the file at the 0th position here, and after that it start reading and cursor moves like this. So when you open it, your cursor is at the 0th position at the beginning of the file, and it open in the read mode. So this total syntax, when you use it, this open and the file name and the mode you providing, it create a file handler object F, and you can do different operation with this file handler object only. I am going to show it to you now, but till now I think it's clear, right? Oh, by the way, one thing, if you do not mention also anything, the default mode is read mode only, R only. So this is implicit read mode. Other modes, if you want to open something in write mode or append mode, you need to explicitly mention. But if you do not mention anything, this is a default mode, read mode. Now we have the file handler object with you. It opens the file, and you put the syntax in the beginning of the file. That it does till now. Then what we are going to do is we are going to read the file. Syntax is very easy. You have the file under object like this F. Then you are just executing the .read method here. By the way, it takes a parameter which is again optional one. If I do not mention anything here in the read method as a parameter or argument, it will read whole file. Okay, and have this text string assigned to this particular text variable. You can print it also, this one. And after that, what we are doing, we are closing it, the file. This close, how we are closing it? The close method, .close. But this is very important for a good programming practice. If you're doing something with a resource, you're opening a file, you should close it. Now let's run this one. I have, after when I read it, all the text I have in the text variable, and then I'm printing it. See all the 4 lines it read and print it for me. Now let's say again let me execute this read. Let's see what it does. Okay, tell me what you think, what it will do. Let's run it, you will understand. See, it does nothing. It's just added one empty line. That's it. Why it happened? Let me explain it to you. What it happened is, once you have open the file cursors here. When you execute the first read, it read whole files, all the text here, and now your cursor is here in the end of the file. Second time when you executing the read method, do it have anything here to read it? Nothing, right? So it only put a blank space here, blank line here, because currently your cursor here in the end of the file after you executed the first read. I can prove this also. There is one method called tell. What tell does is it gives the current position of the cursor where it is. So if you run it again, what is the current position? When you open the file, what I said, your cursor position is the beginning of the file. That is the 0th position, right? You see, it printed the current position is 0. After you read it, first read, I said your position will be end of the file, right? Here, let's print it again, tell. So let me run it again. You see, after it read it and print it, what is your current position is 293. That is the end of your file. Now your cursor is end of your file. Then in executing it, it don't have anything, right? After this. So that's why you are getting a blank line here. You want to, if you want to prove it, you can again print this. You see after the blank line, again I am printing it, the current file 293. So it don't have any more text after 293. That's why you are getting a blank line. Then I'm closing the file. But if you want to read it again, what you will do? Let me show you. Now what happens if you want to reread again? There also a method called the seek method. Let me show you how it works. This is your first is your tail, here is the 0th position. After you read, you print the text and your current cursor position is 293. Now before the second read, what you can need to do is you can change the cursor position, and to change the cursor position there is a method called seek. How you execute it? Execute always whatever we are executing, or executing at top of our file object, right? F. So when executing the seek method, parameter you can pass here is the two parameter you can pass. One is the offset and is the whence. What offset is? Here when you have a working with a text file, the offset is basically the position, the cursor position. You mention the offset that where your cursor want to put. So let's say if you want to put, if you put 0, then you cursor in the beginning of the file. You put 10, then it will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Your cursor position will be here. If 15, it will be something somewhere here, something like that. If you 50, it will be somewhere like, so it works like that way. That is your offset. And next one is the whence. When is basically it takes the three tables 0 1 and 2. When you are reading a text file, then whence is always by default 0. It does not take any other parameter value. But if you are working in a binary file, then it takes three values 0 1 and 2. 0 means the starting position, 1 means your relative position, and 2 means your end of the text. So these three different values, okay, but that applicable only for binary one. For the text one, its whence is always by default 0. So here when I'm executing the 6, what I'm giving 0. That means I am telling that let's read it from the beginning again. So I have the cursor position at 293. Now I am changing the cursor position to 0. Before I put this particular method, if I want to read it the second time, I could not able to read anything. But when I change the cursor position 0, if I again rerun it, I will see I can read it twice here. Let's see, run it again. See, this time the first, let's say current position was 0. It is my first read. After my read, the current position 293. Then what I did with the seek, we changed the current position to 0 again. Again I able to, when I again run the read, I able to read it and print it. So if you want to just check that what's the current cursor position of the seek, you just print this particular line and put it after seek. You will find by yourself. Say what I did is after seek, I change the cursor position to 0. Just wanted to make sure that if the cursor position changed or not. I'm again printing the cursor position. If you print it now, so first cursor position was 0 when you open the file. After first read, the cursor position is end of your file, is 293. After seek, I change the cursor position to 0. Now cursor position is 0. So again you able to read it, and again the cursor position is 293. Hope it's clear to you now how it's working. In seek, what we set the cursor position 0. You can set anything. For example, I set to 50, and you print it. You will see you will able to print it middle of somewhere in the text. See, when I put the cursor position 50, it started in middle, some st is somewhere here in the first line. Just to change it to 48. If you print it now, you see it print test file IO position is your first line. So it started from here because it's your 48 position. Hope you understand this concept now. Now there are two more different methods there when you something opening the read mode. Let me explain it to you first. Now first, till now we know how the read works, right? So let me run it again. Using the dot read method, it reading all the text together, and then I am assigning it to the text variable. And if you see the type of the text variable, I see the type is string. So whole this total text is as a string, and then I am printing it. Perfect. In read method, I told you that it takes one argument or one parameter. That is, you can mention how many character you want to read together. If you do not mention anything, it read whole file, whatever the text in that file. If you mention, let's say 50, then it will read the only 50 characters. Let's print it. When I put the 50, it print up. It actually read only up to 50. You make it 150. It will only read up to 150 character. But if you do not mention anything, it will read all the text in the text file. So this is clear. there is another method called readline. What it does, it execute. When you execute, it will read the first line and your cursor will be here. So when you do the readline method, what will happen is when you have an open, the cursor is here. When you first time you will execute the read line, it will read the first line and your cursor will be here. Then again we will execute the second read line second time, then it will read this line and your cursor will be here. Third time it will execute this and it will read whole this line and your cursor will be here. It works like that way. Let me show you to you. So first read line I'm executing. See, now I'm executing read line instead of read. What it does, it is read one by one line. So here I execute it, it reads the first line. Second time, if I execute it, let's copy this one, paste it here. It's text one, print that text. So here I am executing a read line twice. If you do that, you will see that it twice it executed and it printed twice. Okay, hope you understand how the read line work. There is another one also that is called read lines. S is there. What it does is, what read does is it read the whole text and assign it as a string in this text variable. Read line, what read line does, it read the line by line. First time when you execute it, write the first line. Second time in executing the second line, because your cursor also changes like that way, the cursor position, and it read line by line. But when you execute this read lines, S is here, then what it does, it read all the lines together, but it's no more a string, it's basically a list. I print the type also, you see it's a list. What it does is, for each line basically as a string in the list, and as we have a 4 lines here, so we have a 4 items in this particular list. Each line item is one item in the list. Hope now you understand what is the difference between read method, read line method and read lines method when specifically you are opening the file in the read mode with the R parameter. If you remember, I told you when you're working with a resource like file or database connection, if you open it, you should close it. That's why you notice I always executing this close method on the file object after I doing all the operation with that particular file object, because this is a good practice. You should close it, otherwise there could be some memory leak. But Python gives us again a great syntax, that is a with keyword. If you use the with keyword, then what it happens is you do not need to bother anymore to close the file object. It automatically close it. Python handle it. Let me show you how it works. Okay, the syntax is very easy. Again, you start with the with keyword. So I put the with, then open. You familiar with the open already. That open function, it takes the 2 parameters, the file location and the file name, and also the mode, how we are opening the file. Here opening as a read mode, and as if means that the file object, I am assigning this file object in the F variable. Okay, this is nothing but the file object. Then colon, and in this block you can do anything with this file object. You can read, write, whatever it does based on the mode you opened the file. Here I am opening in the read mode, that's why I am reading it here. So, and after I read it, I am assigning it to the read underscore data variable, and then I am printing it. That's it. So this is my with block. So you notice I am not closing anymore, because when you use this syntax with to open the file and work on the file, it takes care of the closing that. You do not need to close it explicitly. I can prove that also. Let me first run it. See, I am able to run it properly, and I read the file, this files underscore one.txt, and I print it. Perfect. Now, if it is closed or not, I told you that when you are using the with, then as soon as the with block is complete, it will automatically close. To prove that, let me show you that. Okay, there is one attribute .f.closed. It actually give you the boolean. If it is closed, the file is closed, it will give true. If file is not closed, it will give false. So if I run it, you will see it will show you true. That means file closed. See, I got true here for f.close. That means if file is closed. So you are good. You do not need to worry about anymore to closing the file when you're using the with, yeah, this particular syntax, with keyword. And I request you, when you working with your file, then you always try to use this with syntax so that you do not need to bother anymore the closing the file. Another thing I didn't show you here till now, that whenever you are working the file object, you should put this in the try block and except block. If you remember, in the last video we talked about the try and except. You should use that, although I am not putting it here just to because I am trying to demonstrate the how the file object work, but you always put it into the try block. If you want to know the more details of the how you handle the exception and all, you should see the last video, and I will put the link of that video in the description box as well as the comment section. So hope till now it's clear. So now we know that how we can read a file, what are the difference between read, read line and read lines, these three method. What are the modes, different modes we have, how the read mode works. Again, a quick refresher: the read mode basically open the file in the read only mode. You cannot write on it. And read mode always will open only those files which already exist. If file does not exist, it will throw you the error. That's why I'm saying, if you by mistake you give the wrong file name, you should use your try except block so that you can catch the error properly and handle the error gracefully. Once you open the file with the file object, you get the file object and you can do your all operation on top of that file object. And here we're reading it. And we also looked into two methods. One is the tell method, which give the current cursor position when you are using the read mode. Cursor position starting at 0. After you read it, cursor position in the end of the file. And you can use a seek also method where you can change your cursor position. All these things is we already discussed, and I hope it's clear to you. If not, please feel free to put comments in the comment section. I will get back to you and try to help you with my best ability. So now let's see how to write to a file. So if you understood how to read a file and you understood all the concept we discussed in pretty detail already, then this write to a file or any other operation will be just piece of cake, because the concept remains same. So to write a file, the same thing. To write or read anything, any operation you want to do in the file, you have to open the file first, then write to the file and then close it. So first is open, right? So let me open the file. The syntax is same kind. We have a fw, the variable. This is my file handler. And we have the open function here. Open function taking two arguments. The first one is the files which we want to write. The file name and the location, comma, then the mode, how we are opening the file. Here we are opening in W mode, right? W means write. Let me show you. As we know that we have a different modes. Already we discussed R, read mode. RB is nothing but reading binary. I will discuss that too. But now currently we are discussing the W here. The W is the write mode. So it's open a file for writing only. Overrides the file if the file exists. If the file does not exist, it creates a new file for writing. Let's see what does it mean. So what we are doing here we are using W to write the file. Let's say instead of writing, if you had a read, then what will happen? We already know what read does. For read, the file has to exist. If file does not exist and you are opening the file in read mode, then you will get an error. You want to see that? The file W_3 does not exist here. So if you run it in the read mode, then you will get an error that file does not exist. But as soon as you try to open the file in the write mode with the W argument, then what will happen if this file does not exist, which is not existing at this point of time, then it will create the file. You want to see that? Let's run it. See, as soon as I run it, file was not there before. Now it's create the file. File W_3 has been created. If you open it, currently nothing is there. So at this point of time, the cursor is into the beginning of the file, that is 0 index. Now what I am doing is, with this file handler, I am writing on this file. I will writing a file handler dot write, and what I am writing, the text, whatever I am writing here, I put that as hello, how are you? That's it. So if I do it, it will write this to that file. So again, repeating, when you open the file in the write mode, if the file does not exist, it will create the file, and what it will do is it will put the cursor in the beginning of the file, and then I am writing on that hello, how are you? Now for example, if file was exist and if something else was there, what will happen? It will overwrite the file. I will show that to you, but for the time being, you see I am writing the hello, how are you on the file. Then what I will do, I should close it. But before close it, I want to show you something to you, that before closing it, I am just checking if the file closed or not. And I told you, if you are not using the with keyword, then you have to close it explicitly, otherwise the file will will be open. So I want to show it to you. That's why I printing if the file is closed or not, and we should get false here because file is still open. Then what I am doing is I am closing the file, fw.close. I'm closing the file, and then I am again printing that if file is closed or not, and this pointer to you should get true. Okay, let's run it. So what happened? It first open the file w3.s. If file doesn't exist, it will create the file in the, and it opening in the write mode. So file is ready to write, and its cursor is the beginning of the file in the 0th position. Then we are writing fw the write is my method here to write anything in the file, and we are executing with the file handler with the dot notation. And what I am writing, I am writing hello, how are you? So let's open it, the file, and see if it is there or not. Yeah, see, previously it was empty. Now hello, how are you is already written, so that's great. Then what I am doing, I am checking the file is closed or not, and I'm checking it and printing it. You see, I get a false. That means file is still open. Then what I am doing, I am closing the file with the file handler fw.close. I am executing the close method to close the file explicitly, and then again I am running the print statement and see that if the file is closed or not. I am getting true because file already closed. Hope till now you are clear on this. Okay, now you can do the same thing with the with keyword also. How? I'm writing the same thing with the with keyword. So with open, I am opening the file. So file now exists there, right? So it will overwrite the file w3. I will show you. And then I'm writing, I am doing great, and I am seeing that if it's closed or not. After the, when I exit from the with block, I'm seeing if it is closed or not. It's supposed to be closed by itself. Comment out the previous section, and let me run this one. So if you see that previously I wrote in the same file hello, how are you, and I said if the file exists, if file doesn't exist, it will create a new file, but if the file exists, it will overwrite the file. So previously it was how are you, now I am writing I am doing great. So as per theory, if I run it, this hello, how are you will be gone. Instead of that, it overwrite to the I am doing great. Let's see if it works like that way or not. And then I am checking if the file closed or not. Let's run it. See, I got true because file closed, because we used the with block. We didn't need to use the close method explicitly. With keyword takes care of that it open the file, write it, and then close it by itself. So that's why I got the true here. Now let me open the file and see that what happened to the file. See, in the file now I am doing great. So previous file I have the hello, how are you, this overwritten with the new text. This is the way basically the write mode works into Python. Whenever you use the W, the write mode, so you can write to a file. If the file doesn't exist, it will create a new file. If it exists, it will overwrite the file. Hope it clears to you. Now we'll see how we can append to a file. Okay, append means you have some information, let's say, in the file, and when you do the write, you overwrite the file. But for append, what it does is it add the new information at the end of your text. Let's see how it works. Okay, this is pretty easy if you understand the already concepts. Same thing, same concept. We need to first open the file. then append it and then close, right? So how to open? So FA is our file object. I'm opening with the open function. The first parameter is our file's information, the file name and the location of the file, and the mode is A here. For read it was R, for write it was W, but when you are doing appending, your mode is A. And let me show you how append works. So you see, append means A. What it does, it open a file for appending. The file pointer is at the end of the file if the file exists. If file does not exist, it's a create a new file for writing. So that is main difference between write and append. Let me explain it to you with the code. So here I am opening this file w_for.txt. See, file w does not exist here. So what I said, file does not exist. When you am trying to open a file in append mode, it will create the file. Great. So let's run it first. Let's see if create or not. See, it creates. So the files w_4 has been created. Nothing is there because we didn't write anything on this. Then what you will do is, you will do this, use the same method, but only difference is this point of time we are opening the file in the append mode with A. The method was write. So with the file object FA, I'm executing method write write, and I'm writing this particular text, hello, how are you? What happen is, in the append, if you had the file already exist, then you get your cursor and the end of the file. But as file was not exist, so it create the file and cursor is here now. Now I am writing fa.write hello, how are you? Okay, so execute it. Now if you open the file, you see hello, how are you there. Now in the write, I know that if I try to write anything after this, it will basically override it. Now let me write I am doing great. You remember I open this into the append mode, so it should append this I am doing great after hello, how are you, and I'm closing it. Let's run it again. Open, see, hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? I am doing great. Why it came twice? Because first I ran this hello, how are you, that's why it was there. Again I ran the same file, that time again it repeated hello, how are you. Basically it's open the append mode, so appended hello, how are you, I am doing great. Here appended in the end of the file. Hope you understand, right? If it was the write mode, what would happen? It replaced this previous hello, how are you, and you will have only hello, how are you, I am doing great. But as I opened the file in the append mode, so when I first ran, that time hello, how are you was there. Then I again ran, what it did, it actually appended the end of the file, the new information. Write the same thing into the with keyword, where I'm opening with open this as FA2, and then I'm writing the weather is great today. Okay, and let me comment it out, the previous one. Now if I write it like the weather is great today, as per my understanding and theory, the weather is great today should add is end of this file after I am doing great. Let's see if that works in that way or not, because I am opening the file in the append mode, and append mode, what it does is it cursors is the end of the file, that is cursor will be here, and then it will write from here. Let me execute it. Okay, it's executed successfully. Let open it. See, the weather is great today appended with the preview from the after the previous information after I am doing great. So like this the append works. Hope you understand it. Again, you are facing any issue in the understanding, please let me know in the comment box. I'm surely get back to you. Now we will see how to read a binary file. Till now we were working with a text file, right? Normal text, human readable thing. Now let's say you have a binary file like image. Say we have an image here copied in this folder that is called test.jpg. So we are going to read that particular image. Okay? These are test.jpg. If you see this image I have, I will try to read this image. How to do it? The same concept. I have to open it, read it, and close it. So I am going to use the with keyword now. We are not showing in the normal one because as I said, using the with one, with keyword syntax is the recommended one because it takes care of the close one. You do not need to close it explicitly. So the syntax is very easy, same. So with, then I'm opening the with the open function. The first parameter is the location of the file, and I said the file name is test.jpg, and then I am opening in the which mode? RB. Let me show you again. So in our table, RB is the read binary, opens a file for reading only in the binary format. The file pointer is placed at the beginning of the file. Now let's see in the code. So here exactly same concept like read. It open the file, open the JPEG file in the binary in the read mode, and it will put the cursor in the front, in the first position, the 0th position of the file. If the file does not exist, then it will throw an error. And if the file exists, it will open the read mode. And then you can read it, you can print it, and you can close it. So in the way as we are doing the with, we do not need to close, it will taken care by Python. So what I'm going to do, the same thing, we are going to read it with the file handler FB, here as FB, right? This is my file handler. I'm reading with the read method, and I'm storing it or everything in this particular variable, and then I'm printing it. That's it. That is a reading a binary file. Exactly same as read. Only thing difference you see, I am using B here. Now, first thing what I'm going to show it, that as I said, that when you are opening in the RB mode, that is the read binary mode, if the file does not exist, you will get an error. Exactly as the read mode. So to test that, let me give a name of a JPEG which does not exist. So I am giving test1.jpg which does not exist here. If you run it, you will get an error. See, I got an error. The file, no such file or directory, I got an error. Let me go back to the test one. Now what I'm going to do is, instead of RB, let me try to open in the read mode. What I'm trying to open in the read mode? I'm trying to open an image, and I should get an error because read, if I using R, actually it try to open in the text file, but it's a binary file, it will give you an error. Just to prove that, let me run it in the read mode. You see, we got a error. Here I'm saying that it could not able to decode because it's a binary file, and I'm trying to open the read mode, which is a text file mode. It will not work. So I'm going back to the RB now. RB now it should open successfully because RB is the read mode for the binary file. No error. It's open the file, read it, and I'm printing it. All the different binary thing right here, which is not human readable. So this is actually the read binary RB mode. Like that, you can read a binary file in this RB mode. Same way, you can also write with the binary file or the append with the WB and AB mode. Just you need to change here to WB instead of RB, and here you can write it something here, and it should work. So as you see, we covered a lot today. In today's video, we covered the major one, that is a read and write, how you can read and write to a file, major IO operation in Python, and we covered it in pretty detail. In today's video, we mainly covered the read, write, append, read binary, but in the next video, we are cover other remaining modes. Those are R plus, RB plus, W plus, WB plus, A plus, and AB plus. Very interesting one. So you understand the next video is going to be very interesting one again. So we are going to cover all the remaining 6 modes, and also in the next video we are going to cover other remaining ones like renaming, delete, directory operations, and etc. So a couple of more video is going to come on this file handling. But today's video, we tried to make sure that you understand the concept, how the file handling works. That is the most important thing. After this, everything is a piece of cake. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section. I will try to help you. I'm going to share this code with you into the Git repository, and I will provide the Git repository link into the comment section as well as into the description section. Hope you like today's video. If you like it, please share with others and hit the like button. If you are not member in this channel yet, then please hit the subscribe button and member to this channel, because I upload new videos every week and it will help you in your coding journey. See you soon in the next video. Till then, happy learning, happy coding. Bye.